Hey guys! In today's video, I'll be showing you how to propagate spider plants from taking the cutting to potting it up. I'll be using this Bonnie spider plant as the example for today's video. Spider plants are especially simple to propagate, and it's such a fun plant to have because they basically throw the baby plants at us via these offshoots. You can see here these like yellow stems. There are nodes spaced out on them where the little spider babies grow. But if your plant hasn't produced offshoots and your plant is a little more mature, you've had it for a while, I will give some tips toward the end of the video on how to encourage it. My plant is ready to go, so let's handle this first. As far as when a plantlet is ready to be separated, the larger the plantlet, the easier it will be to propagate. So it's best to cut a plant that already has some roots forming. Here's an example of a plantlet with some root growth, and here's an example of one without. So you just want to watch out for that small little bump, a little pimple looking thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it and trim the extra tissue. Okay, here are our spider babies. You can pop these little puppies into water to root just fine, but I actually have better luck putting them into dampened cocoa coir or sphagnum moss petals. The moss and coir seem to hold moisture really well around the roots compared to potting soil, which is a little bit harder to keep moistened. And the roots they form in these substrates aren't going to be water roots like when you propagate them in water, which makes the transition from the propagation container into an actual like planter and potting mix a little bit more difficult because water roots and soil roots are a lot different from one another. To propagate these, I like to use clear containers so that I can watch the root systems and also keep better tabs on how much moisture are in the vessels. Neither of these have drainage. I'll just add a little bit of water if I notice the substrate is a little dry, and that's it. If I want to take things a step further, I'll even add a piece of saran wrap over top with holes punched in it to provide lots more humidity to the plantlets, which makes the growth process much faster overall. I'm gonna set this on a north-facing window. Really, any window is okay though. Just be careful that the light isn't too strong, especially on these baby plants that are a little bit weaker. Bright and direct is best, as vague as that is. Okay, it's actually been a little over a month now, so we're gonna go ahead and get our cuttings repotted. My toddler dumped the water out of this one like 30 minutes ago, so I was like, it's time. We gotta get it potted. Here are where the root systems are at on our propagations. So here's the one that was in the sphagnum moss petals. The roots look really, really awesome. These look like the yummiest ramen noodles I've ever laid eyes on. For some reason, I want to eat these so bad. I did only have to water this one time in the month span since I put them in here because the saran wrap helped hold in the water. And then let's pull out these bad boys. Here are the roots on the water propagations. Here are the roots on the cocoa coir spider babies. You can see they're a little bit finer than the sphagnum moss ones. They look a lot more similar to the water roots than the sphagnum moss petals do, and that's because without the saran wrap on top, I did have to water this quite a bit. Water did pool to the bottom more frequently than in this one. And then I also have this other cup of water props that I started kind of a while ago, 2 weeks before these ones, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pot them together since they both came out of water. So those are the roots after a month for these three, like probably almost 2 months for this one. I'll start with the sphagnum moss one. Pull the spider babies out. Oh gosh, they're very rooted. And brush off whatever substrate I'm able to very gently. It's not super important to get all of the sphagnum off of the roots. Brush off enough so that I can get the plants free from one another so I can situate them a little bit more nicely in a pot. For today, I'm going to pot the sphagnum moss and cocoa coir cuttings together, and then I'm gonna put both of the water props together also. Okay, these ones are having a hard time coming apart. Personally, I would say it's much better to like not damage the roots and leave the sphagnum or coir on them. It's not worth it to rip off a bunch of roots to remove it, but yeah, just take off whatever you can. And now for the coir. This is actually a lot easier to remove because it's a little less fluffy. Okay, so here are our coir cuttings. And our spag petal cuttings. They look awesome. I'm gonna pot these in a terracotta and I'm just gonna use my go-to mix. I think this mix looks really nice, which honestly is why I go for it. Plus it's well draining, but not so well draining that it doesn't have moisture retention, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I filled my planter to here. I'm gonna add in my plants, situate them evenly around the pot. I suppose you could just put the entire clump of the sphagnum moss and like not worry about pulling them apart, but I just like to situate them in myself because I feel like it looks a little nicer and grows in more even this way, but that's just me. Personal preference, you know? Lots of different things will work with these plants. They're not too finicky. Okay, and then I'm going to fill them in so that I'm not covering any of the little leaves with my substrate because that can lead to like rot and mold and all that. Crush the little leaves and I don't know. I just try not to cover them. Tap, tap, tap to fill in any air bubbles. Here is the coir and sphagnum pot. Now let's do the water props, and I'm just gonna do the same thing, but into this terracotta. I always like to use a piece of long fiber sphagnum or a piece of bark to cover the drainage hole so that substrate isn't gonna fall out and make a mess. Again, just fill it up to about here and add in my little cuttings. My water props are quite a bit smaller than the other ones. It's kind of crazy how much smaller they are. I knew there would be a difference, but I didn't think there was going to be that much of a difference. But I actually think I like the look of this pot much more than the other one. Okay, so here are our two plants. Obviously we had more spider babies in the water propagation vessels, so I do like the looks of this plant a little more, but outside of just the fullness, I do also think that the leaves themselves look a little bit healthier. The ones in the sphagnum moss and coir are a little bit more yellow and pale looking. I'm gonna give these a very thorough watering with Liquider and put them back on my north window, and I'll give you one more final update on how these are growing in after we've had a little chat about how to encourage offshoots on your spider plants so that you can get lots and lots of babies. So here's those tips. Probably the best tip I can give on this is to keep your plant slightly root bound. So pot it into a slightly smaller container that will require more regular waterings, so a little bit more maintenance, but it does help promote the plant to push out offshoots to seek out like new ground to absorb nutrients. So if spider babies are your dream, it'll be worth the extra effort. It's important for your plant to be acclimated and mature enough to form the babies, but if you've had the plant a while and there aren't any offshoots, take into consideration some of these factors. The lighting it gets. These plants need enough sunlight to form babies. They don't like lots of direct light either. So if you're having issues with no babies growing, try adjusting the light a little bit based on how many hours of direct light it gets a day or how many hours it doesn't get. The order of operations as far as windows go for me would be, my favorite is east windows, then north window, west window, south window. General rule of thumb for placement. Spider plants really aren't very tolerant of dry conditions, and where they prefer moisture, it's really important that your potting mix allows for airflow to prevent root rot with the more frequent waterings that spider plants tend to like. I'm not saying like your plant can't dry out a little bit, it can. It's just not one that's gonna last very long in super dry substrate. And the last thing to check is to make sure the plant is getting enough nutrients. If the plant doesn't have the nutrients it needs, it's not gonna have the energy to push out the babies. Pushing out babies is hard. I've pushed out 2 babies, okay? Mamas need nutrients. to put in all that hard work, let me tell you. The last thing to check is the temperature. 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit is actually what promotes flowering in the plant. The flowers form on these offshoots, so if you keep it in that range, you're more likely to get offshoots. Something cool that I never knew until now, researching for this video, is if the flowers get pollinated, they're gonna turn into seeds, but if they don't get pollinated, like these have not, they're gonna turn into plantlets. Isn't that so, wow, plants are so cool that they just all have their unique little things like that they do. Now on to the last update. I forgot to mention in the initial video that although the water propagations appeared to look better at the time, I do still prefer to use like an actual substrate to propagate because the transition is typically a lot easier for the plants that way, where the water props still are looking a little bit better in my opinion. I do think long term the substrate ones will look the best, so I'll keep you updated on these in future videos. Let me know if you have any questions, but yeah, here's what we have. I do think they're just trying to acclimate to their new potting mix environment. They haven't really pushed out any new growth. I hope you found this video helpful and have lots of success in your future spider plant propagations. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!